I am happily back out where I belong, painting, as I say there, in the country. I don't know exactly where I am. I'm within 10 miles of home, and drove around a good bit, took several pictures, some of which may turn into good paintings in weeks or months to come. Got some nice... So I'm in the mood, as you can tell by yesterday and today, I'm in the mood to do some country trees in particular. Now yesterday I didn't include the house at all. Today I'm in the mood to include this house. It's an old house that is being rebuilt, reworked, redone. Like you can tell a lot of work's been done on it. And it's got this wonderful, gnarly old tree in front of it. By the way, here's a funny thing. You could see me kind of leaning, looking. My easel is set up precisely because of the direction of the sun. I can't have sun. You can't paint with sun shining on your canvas. You can, but it's nearly impossible, and it's just anyway ridiculous. Don't even try it. But you can't paint with sun coming through the back of your canvas either. So I have my canvas set up in just such a way that the paint, the sun is hitting the side of my canvas. It's hitting neither the front nor the back of my canvas. So I'll be moving the canvas every few minutes all afternoon. It's about 12:30 here. It's a little afternoon as I start the painting, and as I said, I'll be moving the painting all afternoon. Okay, so the point I was starting out to make is that here I am doing. It's a good example of most non-artists assume an artist sets up his or her easel to face what they're painting. Well, today, as a matter of fact, I am exactly facing what I'm painting, and it's a royal pain. Now, okay, here's the deal. If your painting's this big, you can point straight at your subject matter and paint it, right? But if your canvas is this big, did I say that right? If your canvas is this big, you can point it, but this is as small as I like to go, 18 by 24, and it's already in my way, so it is quite irritating. It is quite irritating to have to go like this to see the subject matter. I guess I'm going to get a workout, aren't I? Anyway, just funny that most people think that's what an artist does. They face, you wouldn't believe. One time I was painting at a wedding, and I had my easel. It was after dark at night, and I was painting the wedding tent that was behind me. It was the only thing, out looking out into the country. It was out in the country. It was after dark. It was a wedding out in the country, outdoors. And in front of me was pitch blackness. Behind me was the tent, and I was doing a painting of the tent, and so on and so on and so forth. Now, I am not kidding. More than one person came up and looked at my canvas, and they looked out straight past my canvas into pitch blackness. I'm sorry. I know I'm probably mocking some very sweet, intelligent people, but I sorry. I was flabbergasted. I think I managed not to offend any of them. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn you around. I'll get your comments later. I want to show you where I am. So, yes, I am trespassing. I was going to say, there's the house that I'm doing. Just this side of it, because I'm really doing the tree. Here's how far off the road I am. There's the road, and there's a driveway. And yes, don't tell anybody, but there is a no trespassing sign way over there. Now, I'm just assuming that whoever lives in this house is socially and psychologically well-adjusted enough to know that an artist setting up on your property is a good thing. But there's no guarantee of that. So I hope we don't record American citizen, country citizen misbehaving on this video. The chances are slim. Yesterday I did a similar thing and was greeted with delightful hospitality and friendliness. Let's hope I have the same luck today. Okay, so today's painting, as I was starting to say, has a building in it. And I feel like that in this case, this is part of the composition. But make no mistake, the star of the painting, the subject of the painting, is the tree, not the house. The house is quite secondary, but important. And it's more typical of me to paint, of course, the architecture in combination. Beautiful old chimney up there. I moved it a little bit, but nice chimney. Nice shadows. Of course, painting, it's always, have I said that enough yet? It's always about the play of light. That's what the painting is about, number one. And I should know what kind of tree this is. It's not an uncommon kind of gnarly old tree here. The leaves are completely gone for the fall. And I actually prefer painting bare trees over trees with the foliage on them. So I certainly have what I want today. Okay, I can keep going without waiting for anything to dry. That first layer is largely dry, but I can proceed to do some drawing now with smaller brushes, which Yahoo means I can keep right on going. And I guess I'll keep on broadcasting too. Please do tell me if my sound is bad. I did research and tried to resolve that problem from yesterday. I felt very, very bad about publishing bad sound. One of the hardest parts about being an artist, and I'm afraid I might be right in your way, eh? Let me move you a little bit. Hang on while I shake you all over. And thank you for your comments. I will get to those in a little while. One of the hardest parts about plein air painting is knowing what to paint, figuring out what to paint. And today was certainly no exception. I drove around for about 30 minutes, I think. I stopped one other time and took a number of pictures of an old house with old trees in front of it. So I was in the mood for old tree in front of old house. So that helped narrow it down a little bit. I was also looking possibly for water, because people love water in their paintings. So this scene does not have any water in it. Of course, I could put a mud puddle right here in the foreground, and believe it or not, I'm not being facetious, believe it or not, that counts. That counts as water. People love seeing water in a painting, even if it's just a mud puddle. I've heard some people try to explain in evolutionary terms why human beings like certain scenes, certain landscapes. And it's an interesting theory. It's maybe, we like savanna-like landscapes, rolling green grassy hills with water in it, with a body of water in it, and we like trees, preferably climbable trees. So these people have analyzed. Maybe you have found that. I think it's a TED Talk. Maybe you have found. I don't know. I find it a little suspicious and what's the word? Manipulated. Not intentional on anybody's part. I just mean, yeah, maybe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Be that as it may, I do know that people like to see water in their paintings. A river, a stream, a lake, an ocean, but even a mud puddle will sometimes is adequate. Isn't that funny? But there is no water in this scene. Anyway, I was driving around. The hardest part of plein air painting is figuring out what to paint, which view to paint, which way to point your camera, the camera of your eyes, so to speak. And I drove around for a while, and I stopped here, and I think you can and I've done this. You can drive all day, or you walk all day, whichever the case may be. You can just keep going and going and going and going, thinking, no, not good enough. No, not good enough. No, not good enough. You can just keep doing that all day long and end up not painting anything. And I have done that too. I don't mean all day, but maybe all afternoon. Yep. So it's a real discipline to make yourself stop, look at stuff carefully enough, and then say to yourself, okay, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. And that's the way I felt about this subject matter right here. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And here's what I know, and I want you to know, that the good painting does not reside in that over there. The good painting resides or depends upon what I do on this canvas. It is not, and a good artist, I do know this, a good artist can turn any scene, if you will, into a good painting. Now, that's what I believe. But there's still times that I look at the paintings of, say, name any famous, like Edgar Payne, who painted especially the California Sierra Mountains. And I look at those paintings and go, yeah, but this is a quaint subject matter, a little bit melancholy, right? A little moody, if you will. If melancholy's too much for you, a little moody. It's not going to have the grandeur of a mountain scene, is it? So if I don't ever go to the mountains, does that mean I can never paint a grand scene? And the answer to that question is, I don't know. Maybe. Because there are times when I think, yeah, man, I sure would love to have some grand mountains to paint. I love mountains, by the way. Never lived in the mountains, but certainly visited them enough as a kid and as a young man to have a feel. I love mountains. But one of the people I think about so often in this regard is Andrew Wyeth, who never left his farm on, what was it called? Knowles Farm. No, I forget what it was called. Somebody can tell me. Andrew Wyeth's farm in Pennsylvania. Basically, all of his paintings were done of one farm in Pennsylvania. So no, there were no California Sierra paintings done by Andrew Wyeth. I'd say widely regarded as the #1 American watercolor painter of the 20th century. And he never left the farm. It was his farm. He never left the farm. So there you go. I was going to mention another name, but I'm going to have to remember the name before I mention it. Another artist who inspires me greatly in his ability to take very, very mundane themes and turn them into glorious paintings. I'll think of it in a minute, and then I'll share that with you. I do like this tree, however. I do like this tree. No complaints about that particular tree. And the house is there partly because it creates a counterfoil. Can I use that big word? A counterfoil to the extreme organic chaos of the tree, and the house being straight lines creates a nice contrast to the tree. But I do want to be careful because I want the painting to be about the tree and about the light hitting the tree. I'm doing things that are light in value right now, not things that are white. Don't be confused simply because the house is painted white. That is not why I'm using white paint on the house. I'm using white paint because the house is light in value, but it's in shade. So I'll be coming back later and glazing on top of much of this white that I'm doing right now. Very nice side light coming in from the side here, almost 90 degrees to the direction I'm facing, straight to my right, creating very nice shadows. Now everything's going to change, of course. Everything's going to be moving in the next little while, so I'll need to be careful not to chase the light as I paint and not to continually change my painting based on the changing light. I went back and I've done a little bit more touch up on yesterday's tree, by the way. And as I looked at it this morning, I'll be doing some more touch up on it. So I thought I was all done with the tree, and I'm just very, very close to finished with yesterday's tree. So I hope I'll be able to broadcast my developments in that regard. Here's an interesting thing. This house I mentioned is somebody's obviously doing a lot of work on it, fixing it up right now. And because of that, there's some bare wood on this part of the house. So it's yellow, brown wood and white wood Now, I do not at all obligate myself to include that in the painting. I don't need to do this area brown simply because it is brown. But the irony is, I think it really looks good brown instead of painted white. So I believe I'm going to follow that. Though people looking at the painting, hereafter, when they're not looking at the subject matter, I don't know what they'll think, but I think they'd be surprised to know that that part of the house actually was brown. Okay, I need to wait for that to dry, so that's a good place for me to stop. Thanks for watching. I'll be back in a little bit. First, let's see if I've got any comments that have come in. Okay, any comments? I saw some earlier. Here's my face, just in case you want to see. There we go. Thank you. Hello, Heather. Good to have you back. Oh, no. Bad sound still. Hello, Mia from Germany. Thank you, Toby, for asking. My use of the pencil lines, I want them to show. These are not under, like a traditional painter would just do pencil. As part of their under painting. I'm not sure the word I'm looking for. No. In my case, the pencils are intentional and are supposed to. Thank you for asking. Is it easy to go overboard? Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be. Maybe the sound is just as weird as possible. I hope so, because I've done everything I know other than go and buy $600 more with me. And I spent $300 yesterday on this task. So sounds better today. Thank you, Don. Glad to hear it. Don, no, I don't favor any particular brand. Any professional brand will do. Any full-time professional artist that tells you have to buy this or that is just being a snob. You can have favorites, yeah, but no, favorites are very personal. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So I'll be back in a little while. You know the drill. Thanks so much for watching.